So, hello everyone. I think we're gonna get it started for now, and hopefully a few more will join us along the way. So, yeah, hello everyone. Uh, Happy Thursday. I hope you had a good week. Pretty exciting from different aspects. A lot of things going on both in the Web3 space, behind the Web3 space. We had a pretty fun week. Both in the team, had a few interesting meetings that I'll be able to share some information on. I'm happy to have Dan here with me, who's going to be doing this weekly update once again with me. So I think we can jump into our agenda for today. And let me just get it started. And I think we're ready to go. So, what's the agenda for this week? But before we get into this week, I think you remember all how last week we sort of warned you that, tough week, Diablo was launching, but don't be afraid. We made it through the beta. Even Cedric, right? He sort of went in, did his thing, played around, but he was back on Awesome Ajuna Avatars Season 2 before you even knew it. But it was fun. Yeah, we should keep getting these types of launches, right? That's the exciting things about games. Something new comes out, everybody jumps in. Sort of the whole community has a universal moment of joy, and we're sort of on to the next one. But let's jump into the agenda for this week. So we're gonna go a bit into quests for week 2. A lot of fun, a bit different this week. Hope you enjoyed them. We're going to share some news about our new listing. I think most of you already know by now, but I think at this point we can sort of share some more concrete information about what's going on. So happy to do that. I think that's really important, especially as we move forward. The more access that people can have to the Bayou token, it will give them more access again to the different products that we're going to be launching, and hopefully we can keep growing our community. A lot of the discussions that we've been having this week have to do about sort of gaming on Polkadot in general. Not only about what we can do as Ajuna, as a parachain in this ecosystem, but what we can do collectively, whether that's with other parachains or with Polkadot, the Polkadot team, the parity team itself, to help gaming going forward. We'll share a bit more information about that. And yeah, I'll give an update on the hunt and the most wanted. There are a few glitches there, but we have a Cedric. Cedric is on top of things and he knows what he's doing. But I'll share a bit more about that soon. But first, let's share about let's gossip a bit, right? So what happened this week in Web3, presented by you. But if there's another sponsor that wants to be coming in each week and sponsoring this segment, I'm happy. Birdo, our good old Birdo you may know him before from Talisman, now he's working at Parity. He's in Paris enjoying himself there with the Kusamarian team. Jay there. Really one of the most active, I would say, community members in our ecosystem. He has a suitcase, that's his suitcase. Whenever you see him, he's usually carrying that suitcase. Nothing weird, usually it's just his camera. He wants to be prepared every single time for a good interview, and they seem to be having a good time. The mock-covers, you see, they keep posting and posting. The community keeps growing, and more information is coming into it. I think the best way at this point that I can describe this, what sort of the mock-covers is building towards, or what it's trying to achieve, is that it's sort of a community of communities, right? It's a way that they have decided to take different parts of their whether you want to call it organization, investments, communities, and sort of shuffle them all together and see what happens, which makes for quite a fun experience. We'll be sharing more about what we're doing there and how we're going to be able to support not only and bring value to that ecosystem, but yeah, let's see how we can get them over here and participate in Season 2 of the Awesome Ajuna Avatars. Another one, this is a tweet by Polkadot Insider. Yeah, don't mess with us, right? When there's a competition and There's a gold, silver, and bronze. We're going for gold. So most loved project in the Polkadot ecosystem. I'll take it. No.
As a gaming company, we have to be competitive, right?
Don't. Yeah. I mean, it's there. So it says, I'm here to be won, and we win. It's as simple as that. Um, Yesterday was pretty fun, right? Yesterday was pretty fun. So this is a caption of Cedric. Now, actually, what he was telling me there is that, hey, look, you need to go to Zurich tomorrow. There's somebody that I need you to meet. And I was like, who? And he's like, The Rock. And I'm like, come on, you're joking. You're just messing with me. But anyway, I did go to Zurich, and I stumbled upon Hoon, which you may know from the CTO of Astar Network. And pretty much one of the original builders in the ecosystem. We had a few beers. We talked about a few games. Yeah, we like what the team at Astar is doing. They seem to really like games. So we'll share more. But for now, selfies, right? We're gossiping now. We're not doing anything else. And maybe let's have a bit of a story time now with Dan. We told you last week how we're going to restart sort of the whole OG channel. So maybe you can give just an overview of what we did or how we went about it in season 1, Dan, and sort of what we're going to try to carry on season 2. So maybe I can put it as a question. We did a lot of different activities, right? Sort of in order to see how we could onboard the community. Maybe you can give an insight of what worked, what didn't work.
Yeah, so I think what was really successful is the onboarding of already existing communities and the partnerships that we had with Talisman, with Subwallet, with all of the DAOs, Kusama Kingdom. And I think that worked really well. It was already, let's say, connected communities that joined as a whole and not separate individuals and I understand that's always the thing kind of in Discord when you just start joining, that if you do join by yourself, then you just feel kind of lost, like, where do I start? What do I ask? How do I behave? But when you already see people that I think that always makes it easier to just integrate yourself into a new community. So I think that went quite well. Obviously, overall, the whole OG onboarding, that was very successful. I mean, we did have nearly 1,000 at some point. We still have, how many is it? 800 something. After a couple of hunts, it did go down. And yeah, I think that's also the goal for season 2, that we're currently looking for other NFT projects and other Web3 communities, can also be obviously actual games that are interested in the first place to do, let's say, collaboration. But then also for the later stages, which is what Nick is working on, to actually onboard Web3 games or even non-Web3 games possibly, that then want to launch a new season with us, and possibly even their own game on our network. And that's kind of the strategy right now. And then with the OG onboarding, so we do have a new process. So for now, it is, if you do own a rare avatar, you have the possibility to get onboarded as an OG, which is, I'm not sure when we'll introduce the new onboarding, but I don't think this will last very long. So if you are interested in getting, let's say, cut the queue and get the speed onboarding up until the hot phase starts again, that would recommend, to get the rare avatar, which one lucky person will get one today. And then afterwards we'll have a bit of a more, I wouldn't say more complex process, but it's just not that straightforward for the OGs. And obviously, of course, because we want to, we've already had the OG onboarding for season 1, and I think the way we did it, that should be special for the initial community and the early members, and everyone joining then for season 2, it should be
so
a bit more difficult.
I think as Dan mentioned, the onboarding in season 1 was one of the most sort of successful attempts that we did, and that's something that we're really looking forward to do for season 2. We will be sharing more information probably next week, not only about how the new onboarding is going to work for season 2, but equally and probably more importantly, how in this process of getting new OGs or creating this new OG channel, you can also participate and help us to grow this community. So moving on, let's go back to the quests right now. Now, with the quests right now, they haven't finished. I think, right, we're going to have the results of the quests at some point next week or tomorrow. Actually, are they finishing, Dan?
I think tomorrow. I
Okay.
think we should have also the new quest tomorrow, but yeah, it's looking like tomorrow.
Okay, so if you haven't yet, then let's say completed your quests, what I can do now is sort of do a rundown of the ones that we have this week running. If you haven't, you have about, a bit less than a day to complete them. So level 1, Daredevil. Some of our AAA warriors have suffered injuries from battle, but it helped them heighten their remaining senses beyond normal ability. Find out what feature this is and own at least 3 avatars in red with it. Now, Dan will also share, maybe we can share in the chat the Medium link so you can go over these different quests. Level 2 is Catch and Cook. So, first of all, you need to probably decipher and solve this riddle. I am a weapon of old, forged with metal, strong and bold. I pierce through shields and armor tight. With me, battles are won in might. What am I? Can you guess? Sharp and deadly, a warrior's success. So that's level 2 for you. Level 3, Lucifer, right? Only very evil beasts have infiltrated the world of AAAs. Now, I will let you figure out the rest, but what you have to figure out is go here in this image by which you will find the clues in order to solve quest number 2. Or 3, sorry. Quest number 4, level 4, Julius Caesar. So the origins of AAAs, as we know them, date back to the Roman times, and Julius Caesar introduced something in 46 BC which forced them to adjust. Now solve the riddle and own 2 avatars with the exact number of soul points. And here's your riddle. I'm always with you every step of the way from New Year's Day until the next one's on display. I'm never late, never early, always on time. A cycle that repeats year after year in line. And last quest, I don't think I'm going to go through the zeros and ones. I'll let you do that.
No. You have to, Nick. You have to please mention every.
I can't, right? There's not enough time or patience for that. But so there is a spoon. You need to figure it out on your own. So yeah, that's it with the quests. Again, give us some feedback. How do you enjoy them? Is the sort of level of difficulty make sense to you? Do you like the way that it's escalating? And yeah. And by the way, if you have your own any good sort of riddles that you think would be the community would enjoy, don't hesitate to DM anybody from the team and give us an idea. We will give credit where it's due. So please participate if you're having fun and enjoying these. On to the next topic, Bayou listing, right? Bayou listing number 2. We've discussed it a bit the past couple of weeks. Also, Cedric also let you know that yes, it is going to be Gate.io, so we can confirm that we're going to be listing the Bayou token on the 29th of March on Gate.io. It's going to be sometime midday. We will give you the details when exactly the time it's going to be. We know that Gate.io is going to be running some promotions for our listing, and again, we're going to share the information as we move along. Now, for this is really important, not only for Gate.io being an exchange which is, at least in our opinion, one of the ones that not only is quite heavily supported by the ecosystem that we are in, but sort of a good reputation, sort of and at a level that we think it's going to help us grow our audience. And this is important, especially as we're going into season 2, right? Because season 2 is all about taking what worked really well and what sort of the community enjoyed in season 1 and see how we can slowly scale it up and introduce new people to this experience. So Gate.io going to be listing, Bayou is going to be listing on Gate.io. It's going to be, very, very happy that we managed to get this done. We've been discussing with Gate.io since last year. So happy that it's the second exchange that it's going to be carrying the Bayou token. And let's move to the next topic, Hunt and Most Wanted updates. So Most Wanted restarts, I think, tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the morning. As you know, the reward is going to be 30 free mints and 50 Bayou. So put your alarms, get ready. Hunt is up. Hunts go fast. Most wanted should be fun. Hunt glitch. Now, as you may have noticed, the hunt was up and down and up and down. Cedric figured out that something is going on internally, so he initiated an internal investigation, an internal hunt. And I don't know, Cedric, are we ready for the hunt? Do we have an update? We'll have to see, I guess. And I think we can move on to the next topic, which is what are we going to be talking about sort of next week? Because next week for us is going to be a bit different. We're going to introduce sort of some things that we haven't really talked about over the past weeks. So we're really looking forward for Decoded. Decoded is, I would say, probably the most important, along with Sub-Zero, ecosystem event. It's an opportunity that every parachain, including us, can showcase what we have been working on over the past few months. For us, this is an opportunity to focus on the work that we have been doing, both on our Unity SDK, where we're going to be sharing quite a lot of information of how this is transforming for something a lot bigger, right? Something that started with Ajuna, but we're trying to transform it into an ecosystem-wide solution. I think it's very important if we want to be attractive to game developers and game studios in the future. The second topic that we're going to be touching upon, which we're really excited, we said we were going to be able to share some information today about Wildcard. We can't, not yet. We can't because we don't want to, but we want to do it the proper way. So we're going to try next week to get also the team for Polycrypt over, who we've been working with for some time on this, and give you some more information about Wildcard, how Wildcard will connect with not only Awesome Ajuna Avatars, but how it will connect as quite a critical, integral part for the whole ecosystem in sort of the gaming and NFT space. And last but not least, you know about them, the legendary adventures. So we're pretty happy that I think next week we can start giving you a sneak peek of what it is that we're working on. Theo and Cedric and sort of have been working quite a lot on not only on the design, but sort of how to make these as exciting as possible. But in this case, it's a much bigger team effort. We also have Eric and Didak, who are working on sort of the infrastructure level to make sure that, again, everything is ready for our legendary AAAs to go onto their adventures. So that's a bit of what's going on and what we're sort of preparing, what was going on this week and what we're planning for next week. So I don't know. Dan, shall we open up for a couple of questions? If there's anybody that's...
Sure.
You have us all here. More than happy to answer any questions.
I think bcrypto is already typing something up.
Okay.
Yes, perfect.
So I noticed Polkadot.
Can you see it or should I read it?
Yes, I can see it. It says, I noticed Polkadot is listed as a partner. Can you elaborate on the partnership at all? Second question, the Kusama parachain lease is almost up. Has the team secured a renewal? So I'll start with number 2. So yes, correct, the Kusama parachain is up for a renewal pretty quick. I think it's in a few weeks' time in April. And yes, we will be securing, we will be renewing it. We will share more information on that, but it's something that is intended that we are going to be doing on our own as Ajuna Network. We don't intend this to be a crowd loan, neither do we see a lot of value in doing it as a crowd loan right now. But we're absolutely doing it for one simple reason, because we still are probably one of the only teams that are building something on Kusama, right? And we're fully using Kusama. Awesome Ajuna Avatars are, a Bajun and Kusama baby, and as is season 2, are going to be exactly the same. First part, Polkadot is listed as a partner. Can you elaborate on the partnership at all? We will be sharing more information on Polkadot. Obviously, from our side, we have shared quite a lot in the past how important it is from the one side to be able to, for our project and our token to be discoverable on centralized exchanges. Obviously, we're talking with a lot of different partners to see what opportunities we can give in for whether that's sort of decentralized exchanges or other options which we can make the Baju token and the Awesome Ajuna avatars and other products available. But I will share more next week with you, BC Crypto. Anybody else wondering if the codes on the
Yeah,
avatars?
couple more.
Okay, the Squire is asking, wondering if the codes on the avatars give any clues as to which other AAA they might match with. Wondering if the codes on the avatars, by the codes, do you mean the DNA on the left side? Is that sort of what's the code?
I think so, yeah.
Ah, on the names. So you mean if the names have anything to do with oh, I'll disappoint you. They don't. The names do not have to do anything with with the avatars. Boo. Yes, you're right. We should be booed for that. But maybe I don't know. I'll talk. I know the boss, right? I know a guy who knows the guy, right, that made this game. So I'll ask them if they next season they can come up with a naming pattern to make things more complicated. No, not right now. I'm not sure. Anybody else?
We have with the weekly quest, 2 minutes crypto. So yes, the quest, the plan is that it'll be running every week. I think up until season 2, I believe, or maybe right before season 2. We might have something else shortly before season 2. But yeah, for now that's a weekly thing.
Okay.
We
How
can
much?
maybe
2 minutes crypto is asking how much will minting cost in season 2? Will it be won by you as in season 1 or more? I I don't think it's going to be proportionately anymore. In the sense that the way that the game is going to work is relatively different. Familiar but different. So we will let you know. But the analogy of how the game should work, let's say, should fall pretty much exactly into the same range as season 1. It might be just there's a different, as I said, there's a different design to it, so it might be a bit different, but the cost will be pretty much the same. Yeah.
There was also a question from PRFTA. Is New Omega still planned to launch on Ajuna/Bajun Network?
Yep. So the new Omega team. Last time that we talked to the new Omega team, they were trying to fundraise. They're finding it quite difficult in this market. From what we understand, for now, they have paused sort of the further sort of building of the game. We have reached out to them to see sort of if there's anything that we can do to support. Hopefully, they can. Get a bit of traction back and continue. Hopefully, they will launch. But for now, that we can expect that will be delayed. But I mean that's something that we can expect that's going to happen in the market. That a lot of teams, we've said it before, building a game is really complicated. We can tell you, maybe I can share this from our own experience, that even building sort of Awesome Ajuna avatars took some effort, in the category of, let's say, complexity of a game, right? This falls into the relatively easy in terms of complexity to develop. Battle Mogs, for example, on the other hand, is something which is a much more complex, or the way that New Omega was being designed sort of to play, which takes a lot more time and other times of resources, and that's something common that we should expect, that there are going to be teams that are going to be launching, and part of this Web3 experience is that they launch early. They don't necessarily have all of the resources in front of them, and that's why they come to this space, right? They're saying like, look, I have a great idea. I have this demo. I have this snapshot. I have this game, and I'm looking for a community. And that's where we and you will come in the future, that hopefully projects like New Omega, we from our side are better prepared to support them early on, and also they are in a position that they can take advantage of what we have to offer. But yeah, let's see. Let's not count them out yet. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way, as they say. So yeah, that's where we are with New Omega at this point. When will Ajuna Network be launched, as Maxi? So Maxi, I think the most likely scenario would be Q4 of this year, where it is that we were just going to launch. Not launch. I think maybe there's a difference that we have already obtained the parachain from Polkadot for the Ajuna network, and we intend, as I said, toward Q4 to launch it. But yeah, we'll keep you updated on that, as we've always been quite open and transparent on how this happens. Any other questions we can take?
And from Hopeful of NFTs, if you light up the DNA on the left to all white, will it help get the All-Star Legendary?
If you light up the DNA on the left to all white, will it help reach to get like an All-Star Legendary? So is the question whether
Like
there's
jigsaw pieces of DNA?
Well, if you're asking if there's sort of like a, I don't know, like a secret legendary somewhere hidden in the code, could be. I don't know. I have no idea. You'd have to ask the creator, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't say. But could be. I really don't know. It could be. Like you, there was a day early on. I think we've shared this sort of story before. During the playtesting, that at some point, we're in our daily meeting, and Cedric sort of tells all of us, I think Dan was there, hey, look, I need all of you to go get a legendary in the game when we're playtesting. And I think most of us said, sure, yeah, we'll just go in and start playing. Little did I know on that night when I said, look, okay, I mean, the day is over. Let me just sit a couple of hours and get a legendary. Before I knew it, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Until it took me, I don't know, 5-6 hours until I figured out what was going on. And so yeah, and then the next day he sort of asked me, so have you actually understood how this whole thing happened? I was quite confident that I had understood the code pretty well. The code, I mean the pattern, right? The loop. Yeah, I wasn't exactly there. So I'm pretty sure he has some things up his sleeve hiding. We'll see. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Yeah, we have B Crypto. Where does the Ajuna team? Where does the team see Ajuna in 5 years from now?
Where does the team see Ajuna in 5 years from now? Okay. So I think for us, what we're building towards is Ajuna being an infrastructure where, beginning with Web3 experience like the ones that we're presenting, as we grow from niche Web3 experiences to more fully fledged games, to experience that sort of cross the Web3, Web2 barrier in the next 5 years. So ideally we have a network and an ecosystem where not only we have a community which is actively participant in it, but it starts attracting the right builders right here, and eventually we can start having some really interesting games launched not only on Ajuna but on Polkadot and the Web3 sort of ecosystem as a whole. How we get there, right? And I think that's sort of the challenge here, is sort of the focus. For now, we are trying to put most of our focus on two things, which is creating technology which we can quite easily create showcases like the Awesome Ajuna Avatars, in a way that we can attract developers to start building on Ajuna. And the second thing that we're going to keep building out towards is, if we want to be like the future of decentralized gaming, we need to find the ways by which you as a community and the community that we're going to be onboarding starts having a more active role and a bigger stake in how we attract new projects and how we add value to the ecosystem sort of here that we're building. But all of these things, as I said, 5 years time, that would be the way that we get there. Anybody else? I think we can take maybe a question or two more. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, sure. Ambassadors.
Very cool, like ambassadors. Well, so ambassadors, that's a good topic. Ambassadors been something that both all three of us, and Cedric and Andre and myself, by being involved in the space for quite a few years, we've seen that role of ambassadors change over the years, and it's becoming increasingly better and fine-tuned. We wanted to start it quite early on from last year, but we were a bit hesitant. A lot of it has to do with how do you create something which is not, let's say, cheap in the terms of numbers, right? Because you can see a lot of times what's being created in these ambassador programs is essentially bot armies, right? And bot army doesn't have to be an actual bot. It can be a human. It's just sort of that we are creating armies to do reactions, and in the long term, that can end up being quite hurtful for two reasons. One is that it masks a situation for both the external world that's looking at your project, but even worse, it masks it for you. So you can fall into a false positive narrative as a team that, look, we're doing great because we have, systemically created a bot sort of army. So the way that we see what we're trying to do here is take sort of analogies or take organizations that work in gaming, right, and that work the ground up, and see how we can take that logic and bring it into ambassadors and communities. So, for example, take a gaming community. Let's take a gaming community of a streamer, right? There's the streamer himself, who's the person who's responsible for creating the content and entertaining a fan base. In that community, there's the fan base. So there's the people there that are going to be entertained. There are people that are going there to find the community and find like-minded people. There's people there that go to discover new games, and so on and so forth. There's moderators in that community. There's people that help to produce that thing in the community. There's people that probably create merchandising and other things for that community. So all of these different parts, right, is what create, let's say, in a small echo chamber, the community of a streamer. So, and again, if you go for CSGO, if you go in another big community, you'll see different structures there. So how do we take those structures where you see which parts of that community are active and are creating content or are creating value? And somewhere around that, we'll figure out a way that we can do, whether we call it an ambassador program or something else. We're working towards it. Any ideas that you have, let us know. If you've seen an ambassador program that works, let us know. And by works, for us, it has to do with engagement at the end of the day, right? How can we create a community that through engagement can keep growing? So yeah, I think I'll take one more question from one of our kings. Any partnership in discussion can share with us. For example, is there an NFT project or gaming project plan to launch their projects with Bajun Network in season 3? We are talking with a few NFT projects, some probably familiar with a few people in here, and some not. I will not share information yet on what it does, but the intention for us as a team is that season 3, and if we can squeeze a season 4 also in the year, would be with a separate partner here. I think that's quite important to get other. But there's a few other partnerships as you've seen that we've mentioned that we're trying to see how we're going to explore, whether that's through. So I don't know. Maybe there's an opportunity to do something for the Mochaverse and the Awesome Ajuna Avatars, maybe in partnership with some other teams within our ecosystem. There's a few things that we're talking about, and we'll be sharing soon.
I think there was one more from 2 Minutes Crypto.
Okay, yeah.
Regarding the referral program.
Okay, so yeah, there's referral program. Again, this falls into the category of all of you are aware of referral programs, whether that's called the bounty program, whether that's called a program from Crew 3. Yes, there will be a referral program that we're putting in place, and the whole idea is that how we can do it in a way that the important thing for us is where the funnel ends. And for us, the funnel ends exactly where we are here today speaking, in our Discord channel. So we want to make sure that we create a referral program which makes it easy for you, right, to invite your friends, people that you think could be a good match for a product or a game like the Awesome Ajuna Avatars, um, in here, and then it's up to us to do the onboarding, as you very well know that it was done for season one. So yes, we will, and I think hopefully we're going to do it next week. We're going to be able to start. Um, Theo from our team with Cedric are working on it in order to, as I said, make it in a way that there is some automation and there are ways that, yeah, you can all participate. I think that's super, super important. How do you crack the big Asian market for gaming? I mean, oof, that's a. I guess you could ask even Activision itself, like, how do you crack the Asian market? And they would say, oh, pff, that's a tough one. It's the biggest opportunity by far over the next 5 to 10 years, I would say. I mean, it's quite clear. Both the Indian market and China are sort of because of the numbers, but in the next, I would say, 2 to 3 years, where you see a lot of the activity coming is from markets like Vietnam, Indonesia, and things like that. Now, the patterns that you will see in those countries in terms of gaming are quite different from others. So they're already quite ahead in terms of the adoption of Web3 games. They're quite focused on mobile games and I would say casual games, more so than what we may think as a AAA PlayStation type of environment. So absolutely, big one. A lot of the partnerships that we're doing now, right, are focused to see how we can ourselves, bring some value to that market, and some partners that um, potentially can help us get into that market even more. And yeah, you can also look at the partners that we currently have. There's more than a few hints, whether that's in our current partners or our investors, how we acknowledge very much the importance of the market there. It's a tough one. That doesn't mean that the fact that we know it, right? From knowing it to getting to that market is a massive, massive difference, but we are doing our best to get there. Anything else? Any other question that we can take? Maybe one last one.
I think there was someone typing, but I think the rest was answered. Correct building. No, I think the rest we have answered.
Good. Okay.
Maybe also one thing that we forgot to mention with the quest. So there was a couple of people who, basically mentioned that the quest number 2 was a bit too difficult compared to number 1, and we have readjusted that. So the quest, I think tomorrow that will be live, it's going to be a bit easier again. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my advice would be, I think you need to be grifting a bit more, right? If you see that you can't figure it out, go bother somebody, right? Go bother Dan. Go tell him, hey, I can't figure it out, And he'll get to the point that probably he's going to get so annoyed that he'll have to go to Cedric and say, I can't figure it out. Give me a hint.
I think it wasn't I think it wasn't necessarily the quests. I think the quests most people were able to solve.
Okay.
I think it was more the actual the items and the particular avatars, and I guess also the amount, because some of them were more difficult to get.
Okay.
And expensive to get from the market. So I think that was the underlying issue.
Understood.
Yeah,
Good. So I think we can do this. Just a couple of reminders for everyone, right? There's a giveaway. You said Dan today, right? For a rare.
Exactly. I think we'll announce that after the call now.
Good. So stay in the chat and you'll get the announcement from Dan himself. Join us again next week. We're going to be sharing a bit more information on that. Obviously, it's a day that we want you to show up, right? In numbers, it's going to be the day of the listing, if I'm not mistaken, right, on the 29th. That's next Thursday. So hopefully we have something, exciting, something special for you for next week that we can share. Look forward to hear more information about Wildcard and what we're sort of. That's a big part of the infrastructure that we're building in order to get Polkadot out there, right? Not only Polkadot, but Ajuna out there into the hands of developers. So yeah, thank you again for joining. Have a great afternoon and enjoy your weekend. And we'll be back again next week for more. Have a great one, everyone.
Yeah, great. I'll share the winner in general chat because I think this chat will disappear once we close down. So then everyone can see it.
Good.
All right, cool.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Yes. Thanks for joining. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.